Now, if you are ready to shift, you definitely want to make sure you stay here because I'm going to explain to y'all how physical reality works. Now, if you do not know who I am, my name is Jay. I have a bachelor's and master's in metaphysical sciences. Okay, I'm also a spiritual practitioner. So I help people do their spiritual work. I help people to shift their reality so they can shift their identities. And I'm going to give you some information on how physical reality works. All right, so in order for you to shift your reality, you have to shift your identity. Now, let's talk about this. I'm going to say this over and over again because I want y'all to get it and y'all have to understand in order for you to shift, you have to really get this, okay? This is an energetic vibrational universe. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. All the energy that will ever be here is here right now, okay? And so you have the opportunity to create whatever life experience you want to. Why? Because you are God. Okay? Now, if you know anything about God, you know that God is whole, complete, lacks nothing, abundant, and is worthy. It is all those things. But what happens when we are born? We are immediately indoctrinated into fear, into a fear-based society. So, can't really write that anywhere. Can y'all see? Y'all can't even see it. Lord help us. We're immediately indoctrinated into a fear-based society. So what happens is, as children, we grow up internalizing the thoughts, the belief systems, the ideologies of our parents, of society, of the world, right? Because we don't know any better. We are young. We have these very impressionable minds that are susceptible to all the information in the world. And so because we are children, because we don't know any better, we are only doing the best that we can in order to what? Survive, right? And so we start to internalize these belief systems that we pick up from our parents, that we pick up from school, that we pick up from society, that we pick up from work, okay? And as we grow older, what happens is we become a manifestation of the belief systems that we're holding on to. Now, the problem is that most people think that their beliefs are their own and they are not, right? And it's hard for you to figure out what is mine and what is not, because while you're interacting with the world constantly, you have to work, you have to pay bills, you have to go to the gym, you have to do this, you have to do that. So you don't really have time to sit with yourself and be with yourself, and it's designed that way on purpose, right? Because what happens when you get to actually know yourself? What happens when you actually get to realize that, wait a minute, this belief is not mine, this is someone else's. Why am I harping onto this energy that is not mine, right? You're easily controlled when you don't get that time to be with yourself, to be in a relationship with yourself. And when I say yourself, I mean the true aspect of who you are, the part of you that cannot be created or destroyed, your spirit, right? Which is what God is, right? God is you as you experiencing you. Now, when I say you are God, I'm not saying that you are the creator of all things. Let's not get crazy here. What I'm saying is you are a manifestation of God. So God is you as you experiencing you, moving through you in your life experience. You are a fractal of it. Does that make sense? Let me know. Give me yeses in the chat if that makes sense. Winner said fear-based society. Exactly. Okay, make sure y'all like the live. Make sure y'all like the live because we need to get this message out to as many people as possible because we are shifting reality. Get in, babe. We're shifting realities. But first, I got to give y'all the foundation first, right? I have to give you the foundation because you have to remember who you are. See, the work that I do with people, I don't do self-concept work. I do identity level integration work. And I really help you return back to your wholeness. Thank you so much for the gift, Winner. Okay, yes. D Next Tone said we are all fractals of source. Exactly. So because we are all fractals of source, right, that means that if source is abundant, if source is whole, if source is enough, if source is worthy, if source is all of these things and lacks nothing, because in its wholeness it is already everything, then that means if you are a fractal of that, then you must also be that, right? You must also be that. Okay, now what happens in physical reality to make you think that you're not all the things that you already naturally are? That's what we call the matrix. That's what we call the trap. Okay, this physical reality, the way that it's set up, because it's rooted in fear, because it wants you to doubt, because it wants you to lack, because it wants you to think that you're not worthy, it wants you to think that you're already not all the things that you naturally are. Okay, it wants you to think that, because when you think that, it can control you. So you grow up in this fear-based society. You grow up in this home, internalizing these beliefs that are not yours. And guess what? Now, because reality is responding to your identity, now your reality becomes a reflection of who you are being. So everything that exists in you, this energy that exists in you, is energy that you're projecting outward. Okay? So not feeling worthy, you're holding that energy. It's not just a thought you have. You don't feel worthy. You don't feel good enough. And it reflects in your money. It reflects in your relationships. It reflects in what you allow, right? It reflects in the lifestyle that you have. And so because you don't think that you're worthy, maybe you grew up around parents who did not instill that in you. Maybe you grew up around seeing your mother not loving herself. Maybe you grew up around seeing your father giving his body and giving his access to all different type of women because he was trying to fill a void within himself. Right? Maybe you saw that as a child. Whatever you saw, you internalized that. Okay? And because you internalized that, now you've grown up into this woman or this man who is now projecting not enoughness. And so guess what? Because that's what you're projecting outward, that's what has to come back to you. Because you do not see reality as it is, you see it as you are. Okay? Exactly. The next song says you are manifesting that reality. So when you harbor onto these belief systems, when you harbor onto these energies of not enoughness, of lack, of doubt, of fear, when you harbor onto these energies, okay, what happens is you stabilize that energy in your auric field. Now, when you're born, you are already whole, complete. Nothing is in your auric field. You are operating from wholeness. But immediately, like I said, as you grow, you're internalizing these belief systems. So now it's tainting your auric field, right? And so now, like I said before, you internalize this belief of not being worthy, and so now it reflects back in your physical reality. Okay? You internalize this belief of not being in love, and now it reflects back in your physical reality. You internalize this belief of lacking money, okay, and now it reflects in physical reality. You internalize life being hard, life having to be challenging, life having to be a struggle for you. And so guess what? It reflects back to you in your physical reality. So guess what? If you can create suffering for yourself, then you can also create something else. If you can create suffering, then you can create something else, right? If you can create lack, then you can also generate abundance. If you can feel unworthy and be a person who is unworthy and experience life reflecting back to you that unworthiness, then you can also operate in your worthiness and experience the opposite. Why? Because you are a creator. That's why. Right? So you have to, first of all, know who you are. See, the problem is that y'all have these life experiences, y'all have internalized these experiences, and y'all think that that is who you are. You think your paycheck to paycheck and the lack that you have and the doubt that you have and the unworthiness that you have and the lack of self-love that you have is who you are, and it's not who you are, it's an experience that you are having, because at the end of the day, this is who you are. You are God, right? You are the awareness of the experience itself, not the one experiencing the situation. And you forget that you, as a fractal source, signed up to go through a human experience. But who you are is unmoved, it is unchanged by everything in this physical reality, right? And so when you can see not unworthiness as just energy instead of a fact, right? This is not identity, this is just energy moving through me. When you can see it as what it is, which is just energy in motion, it's an experience that me as consciousness, as God has had of unworthiness, then now I don't attach myself to this energy, and now I can switch the energy from unworthiness to worthiness. And as I stabilize the new energy, what happens? I project worthiness, and what happens? I start to attract life reflecting back to me my own worthiness. Do we get that? Let me know in the chat, yes or no. Let me know in the chat if we understand, yes or no. I need to see y'all, yes or no. Yes or no? Exactly. Leah said, I am no longer breaking down crying like I was other. Now I can shift my energy to create reality. You absolutely can shift. But crying is not a bad thing. Feeling unworthy is not a bad thing. This is the thing that y'all need to understand about emotions, right? About negative thoughts, about negative feelings. Let's talk about it, okay? Negative thoughts and negative feelings are simply just energy. And it's an experience that you as consciousness, because you're God, because your awareness is having. So it's not good or bad. Good or bad is a human construct. It's not real, right? Humans use good or bad to label things so we can categorize and put it in this box or that box. But to feel fear and to feel doubt and to feel worry is not a bad thing. The problem happens when you identify with it. Y'all identify with these feelings. Y'all identify with that energy. And that's not who you are. You are the observer of it. So now you've identified with it and you've become fear. You've become unworthiness. You've become doubt. And so guess what? You've internalized that. Now your life reflects back to you who you are, who you are being. Why? Because reality is responding to who you are being. It's responding to your identity. It is responding to your energy. Do we understand that? Yes or no? Understand that? Yes or no? Do we? I said I was gonna record this live for y'all and post it on my YouTube channel, so I just did that. Okay, we understand. Exactly. So when we get a bill in the mail and the account is $3, we can either collapse into the fear that we feel, collapse into the anxiety that we feel, collapse into the lack that we feel, right? Or we can say, you know what, in this moment I'm feeling fear right now, and it's okay. Because why? This is who we are. We're God. Why? Because we're awareness. Why? Because we are the observer of the experience. Okay? And this is why you need to have awareness. This is why awareness is important. Remember I talked about awareness earlier? Who was here from the live earlier? Let me know. Who was here from the live earlier where I talked about the importance of awareness? Because what does awareness allow you to do? Somebody let me know in the chat. What does awareness allow you to do? Somebody let me know in the chat. I know some of y'all was here from earlier. What does awareness allow you to do? What does awareness allow you to do, Big Mama? Remember we talked about awareness, the importance of awareness? Awareness allows you to see yourself. Awareness allows you to see yourself. See, you're so indoctrinated into this life experience. You're so enmeshed with life that you don't have the opportunity to see yourself because you think that this reality, your experiences is who you are and it's not who you are. And so you get swallowed up by the lack. You get swallowed up by the fear. You get swallowed up by the doubt. And now your physical reality is controlling your state of being, but you're the creator here. You're God here. So why are you letting something that exists outside of you control who you are being? Why are you allowing it to control your state of being? Why are you allowing it to dictate your behavior? Why are you allowing it to shape your perception? That's a choice. Right? Yes, you are not the body. Exactly. You are not the body. You are the thoughts. You are not the body. You are the awareness of the body. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness of the thoughts. You are not the feelings. You are the awareness of the feelings. That is what you are. Now, because you have not been taught who you are, because you have not, and this is the thing, you don't even need to be taught. You're here to remember. I'm here to help you remember who you are. Right? Because on a soul level, you already know this. But you've been so engulfed in your human experience that you have forgotten it. So you're just here to remember. That's all you're here to do. I'm here to remember you. I'm simply a reflection of what you already know on a soul level. That's all this is. Right? So I'm not better than you. I'm not anything more than you. I'm not above you. I am you. That's it. Do we understand? Let me get some yeses in the chat. I remember who I am. That's what Greg said. I know that's right. I remember who I am. So let's recap this because I really want y'all to internalize this and understand this, right? Because when you know who you are as God, when you know that you are awareness, when you know that you are the observer of your experience, not the experience itself, you don't internalize it anymore. What happens when you don't internalize it anymore? You don't become it. What happens when you don't become it? When you don't identify with it, it cannot control you. What happens when it cannot control your state of being? It doesn't have to be reflected back to you. That's not something that you have to experience, right? Exactly. You are a mirror. I am a mirror to your consciousness. That's it. So now, because I know I can change this, when I do the work to become someone who is worthy, okay? When I do the work to become someone who doesn't lack money, let me make a money sign. I.e., I shift my energy, okay? When I do the work to become someone who is enough, and I release the energy, when I do the work to understand that life does not have to be hard unless I choose that, then what happens when I do the work in my energy? When I shift my energy, what happens? Now, because physical reality is a reflection of who you are being, right? And this happens from moment to moment. Thank you, love, light. Love, light, and life. Thank you, babe. Then now, the reality has to shift. So now, I go from being not worthy to being worthy, okay? I go from feeling not enough to being enough. I am enough. I go from lacking to being abundant and claiming the abundance that is already mine, because it's already yours. You already are abundant. You are just believing that you are not something that you're believing that you are something that you're not, which is lack. That is not who you are. You might experience like that's not who you are, and you have an opportunity to gain abundance, you can experience abundance, because when you experience yourself, your true nature, you experience abundance. When you stabilize with your true nature, what happens is it projects outward. Okay? So instead of thinking that life is hard, life has its challenges, but life is about flow and ease. And so you experience flow and ease. So let's get into the nitty gritty. I'm going to give y'all a different kind of example of how powerful identity is and how it shapes your perception. Remember the other day I talked about identity, how it correlates to your belief system, and then that correlates to your perception, and that correlates to your behavior, and that correlates to your outcome. Let's talk about that so this can all really make sense for you, okay? And again, when I say you are God, I'm not talking about ego. I'm not talking about ego, babe. I'm not talking about ego. Let's get that out of here, okay? I am saying that you are a fractal of source. You are a fractal of this. You are made in the image of all that is good. Amen? So because you are that, because and this lacks nothing, is whole, is complete, then you are a microcosm of that macrocosm that is the source of all things. Which means that not only is God the source of all things, but you are a microcosm of that. So you are the focal point of your own life experience, which makes you God over your reality, which makes you your own creator, which makes you the authority. But your problem is, what most people run into is they give their authority to the physical reality. They let physical reality dictate their state. They let physical reality dictate their behavior. If you're a visual learner, let me know in the comments below that you're a visual learner and this is helpful for you. You wish you could easily read it. Can you not read it? Oh, you know what, y'all? I'm so sorry. Is that better? Now, why y'all have me doing all of that and y'all know it was backwards? Why y'all ain't say nothing? Why y'all ain't say nothing? You got me out here looking crazy. That's not right. That's not right. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. I don't. We're gonna need to. Come on now. Okay. What they say? Si se puede. Yes, we can. We're a team. Okay. Y'all need to make sure I'm on my toes, my P's and Q's. Amen. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. See, I was so in tune with the message. I didn't see nothing. I didn't see Nathaniel. But we're good. We're good now. Are we not? Amen. Thank you. So. Let's try. Oh, I'm out of breath. And see, this is why I need to get my cardio up, because this don't make no damn sense. I'm breathing hard. I'm breathing hard. Help us, Lord. Okay. Let me get my little man. Okay. And let's get our examples back up here, because I want y'all to see. Now, I want y'all to see this because I really want y'all to understand. I want y'all to get it. I want y'all to understand, okay? Let's bring it on back to identity. Why is this important? Because identity automatically shapes your reality, okay? Now, as children, remember I said we grow up, we're born whole, completely lack nothing, we're indoctrinated. Y'all remember that? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments below, okay? Now that we know that, this is how your identity shapes your reality. I'm going to break it down in a practical way so you can see it logically. Because everyone might not be a spiritual person. Everybody might not take a metaphysical approach. So I'm going to talk to you in a way where you understand it. Your identity, okay, is the foundation for your belief systems, okay? So in childhood, this person internalized because they didn't have parents that made a lot of money. They were living paycheck to paycheck. You may have experienced the lights being cut off, not having enough money for food, whatever the case is, right? Whatever your case is, it doesn't have to be that extreme, but they've internalized lack. They've internalized not being enough. Maybe they didn't get poured into as a child, right? They internalized not being worthy. They internalized life being hard. And so that identity has shaped your beliefs around physical reality, okay? Now, your belief systems are energy, okay? Thought forms are energy. Your belief systems are energy. But what happens is you internalize this belief and now you're holding on to that energy. Now, even though you're a fractal of source and even though you're whole, complete, you lack nothing, because you've internalized energy, now it's stuck in your auric field. Okay? You have a natural auric field you cannot see. We can only see less than 1% with our natural eyes. Everything else, we cannot see anything else. So over 99%, you cannot perceive with your natural eyes. Everything is energy. Why is that important? Because being that your identity is the foundation and it shapes your belief system, that belief system shapes your perception. Why is that important? Why is that important? Because physical reality has no inherent meaning. Okay? It has no inherent meaning. None. Your One of your gifts from God has been the ability to be a creator, the ability to internalize and extract your own meaning from physical reality. And you extract that meaning based off of who you are being. Okay? You extract you extract that meaning based off of your belief systems. Okay? Now, why is that important? Because your perception of reality is going to drive your behavior. It is going to dictate what you do or don't do. It is going to dictate how you show up. Okay? Remember when I talked earlier about woman A and woman B? How woman A felt not worthy, felt not good enough, lacked, right? Had low self-esteem. So every man that gave her attention, she gave him access to her body. She gave him access to her energy. And it ended up being a situationship that didn't go anywhere further than her giving herself up. Remember when I talked about that? I remember when I said that woman B is a woman who has self-respect, who has standards, who has boundaries, who knows that she's worthy, and knows that she's a reflection of all that is good, right? And so when men would come to her that were not her type, she didn't have to accept the breadcrumbs from them. She did not have to accept the relationship. She did not have to accept the advancement, because she knew that she could have exactly what she wants, and she ended up attracting it. Right? So woman A, the one who lacked the self-esteem, that had the low self-worth, and I'm just using this as an example. So if you're a man, this is, I'm just using it as an example to show y'all how energy works. It drove her behavior to where she felt like she had to accept every man that came into her sphere, because those men made her feel validated. They made her feel worthy. They filled a void within her that she was not able to feel in childhood. And she has not processed those feelings. So guess what? She carried that into adulthood. And guess what? It manifests itself in these partners who only take from her, who do not support her, who do not give to her, who cannot anchor her. Right? She cannot attract provider men. She attracts the dusties who just want to take. They don't have anything else to offer but their pain. Nothing. They have nothing else to give but their pain. And yet you feel loved, and you feel desired, and you feel chosen, and you feel wanted, even if it's for a little bit. Even if it's for a night, even if it's for a moment, you feel chosen, you feel loved, you feel desired, and that's all you ever wanted to feel, because a little girl in you had that void that did not get filled as a child, right? So she feels like she has to accept the bare minimum. And this is the thing, subconsciously, men prey on that. They may not even be aware, but they can feel that, they can sense that, and they prey on it, right? And so because that drives your behavior, you get the same outcome. You end up in the same situationships, different man, same type of spirit, that does not want to give to you, that does not want to pour into you, that does not want to build from you, only wants to take from you, only wants to use your body. But guess what? He is a reflection of who you are being. And that's why you can have the same man approach two different type of women. One woman lacks self-esteem, the other one has self-esteem, and he treats them both differently because he's a reflection of who they are being. Right? And so the woman who has standards, thank you for the gift, babe. The woman who has standards, she commands a different energy from him. Right? The woman who lacks standards, she gets what she gets from him. But both of them are experiencing a different reality based off of who they are being. There are men who told me I would never do this for anybody else. Well, anybody else ain't me. Right? So I command a different energy from a man than a woman who does not have that sense of self-worth. Okay? So that's why you need to see how your identity shapes your reality, because it's all connected. So you may not be a spiritual person, you may not be a metaphysical person, you may not understand energy, but you have to understand how your identity shapes who you are being and how it shapes what you attract. And guess what? That woman A, who attracts repetitively the same kind of men, guess what? It reinforces her behavior. Now this is what's gonna gag y'all. The woman who lacks self-worth, who has the belief that she's not worthy, who's not enough, and so she believes that she has to take from every man, accept a number from every man, accept a date from every man that approaches her, because it makes her feel something. It makes her feel something that she's not able to feel within herself because she has not done her work, right? So it drives that behavior. She attracts the dusties, and guess what? She continues to attract situationships, and guess what? That outcome reinforces her identity. It reinforces that not enoughness, because guess what? She ends up by herself. That man leaves. He gets what he wants and leaves. He doesn't pour into her and he leaves. And so guess what? She's still left feeling what she already feels, which is that I'm unworthy, I'm not enough. And she stays stuck in the loop. That's what I want y'all to see. That your identity is perpetuating your reality, which is keeping you stuck exactly where you are. Do we understand that? Are y'all getting what I'm saying? That you are the one creating it. And this is not a place to blame yourself. This is a place to be aware and to be open and honest with yourself about what you are creating, what you are having a hand in. Do you see what I'm saying? If you missed this video, I'm going to put it up on my YouTube later today. So I need y'all to understand that who you are being shapes reality, because and it keeps you stuck in this loop. And you try to change and you try to show up differently, but you're not releasing the energy that attracted the reality in the first place. So it does not matter what you do. It matters who you are being when you do what you do. And if you are being the same person, guess what? You're going to get the same result every time. You're going to get the same man in a different body every time. You're going to get the same experience every single time, because you have not changed. So when you know who you are as God, when you know who you are as the authority, when you know who you are as the creator, and some of y'all might not be ready for this, but I'm going to gag you because it's important to take ownership, right? This allows you, when you know who you are, to take ownership of your life and the life that you're creating and the life that you're choosing, whether you understand it or not. But you are in this life, so you are getting to understand. So now you know that you have choice, and it's up to you to decide what you're going to continue to choose or not. Okay? This is the thing. You can't keep getting upset with these men who are simply a reflection of who you are choosing to be. Okay? And that's why, now I'm not saying, listen to me what I'm saying this, because I'm not a big Misha. I'm farther from it. I'm the furthest thing from it. Ew. Get off me. Don't touch me. You see what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, we have to take accountability for the type of people we choose and for the type of stuff that we allow when we're dating these people. Right? A man can only do what you allow, babe. He cannot do what you do not allow. So, if I'm constantly attracting a Dusty, if I'm constantly interacting with a Dusty, if I'm constantly interacting with a man who only wants what's between my legs and does not value me, if I'm constantly attracting that type of man, what within me, and this is what a lot of women don't want to look at, what within me is attracting that? What within me is wanting me to see it, use my awareness to see it so I can release it? Is it possible that I don't really love myself? Is it possible that I really don't feel worthy even though I act like I do? Is it possible that I really don't feel enough even though I act like I do? Because if I really felt those things, if I really knew who I was made in the image of, if I really knew that I was whole, abundant, complete, and lack nothing, if I really knew that I was already worthy, if I really knew that I was already enough, I would not be entertaining these type of men. I would not. Because why would I entertain this man when I can have exactly who I want? Why would I entertain this man when I can have exactly what I want? Why would I entertain this Dusty when I can actually have a provider who's going to show up for me? Because I'm willing to show up for myself, right? Do we understand that? She said some of us are disconnected from spirituality, and that's why I'm here, Bookie Butts. And that's why I'm here. So as women, we have to learn to take accountability for what we are choosing, for what we are allowing. Because yes, we can continue to blame men for being horrible people. Or we can say, you know what? Yes, you are horrible, but I also don't have to choose to put up with this. And either you meet my standards, you meet me where I am, or you simply will not meet me. And that's your loss, not mine. Because if you won't do it, another man will. Thank you, babe, for the gift. You see what I'm saying? And so that's also important, where y'all have to stop operating from lack. But you operate from lack because you don't think that you're enough. And so you think that you have to take breadcrumbs from these men who are not trying to give you nothing but take from you. That's all they're trying to do, is take from you. You are literally the divine feminine. You deserve an offering. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Why are you letting men in your space come to you empty-handed? What? They can't, and this is not limited to financials, okay? That man can't have an intellectual conversation with you to save his goddamn life. All he can tell you is what he played on the video game. What the hell can I do with that, sir? Nothing. He don't have a vision for his life. He want a family, have broken homes, and he's trying to build another one with you? Why are we giving these dusties our attention? I'm sick of it. So you gotta know who you are, right? You gotta know who you are as a fractal of source. I'm gonna introduce myself again because I see some of y'all are new here, okay? My name is Jay. I am your spiritual guide and teacher, okay? I read tarot. I'm very intuitive. I've been doing this and walking this path for almost 10 years now. I had my first spiritual awakening in 2016, 2017. I've been doing this. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I've lived. I'm telling you what I've walked. I also have a bachelor's and master's in metaphysical sciences, which includes manifestation, which includes energy, which includes consciousness, which includes identity. So I know how to help you shift your reality, but I cannot do it for you. You have to do it yourself. Why? Because I am not your God. I am not your healer. Now, I can guide you through the process of doing your own work because I don't need to save you because you have all the tools needed to save yourself. You see what I'm saying? I'm not here to save you. That's not what I'm here for. I am here to help you remember who you already are. I am here to speak life into you. I am here to help you return to your wholeness. Because y'all have forgotten that you already are whole, that you already are complete, that you do not lack anything. And so I'm just here to help you remember that. I am here to guide you back to yourself. I am here to guide you back to the truth that you already know on a soul level. That is what I am here to do. Now, if you come into this live saying that we are not God and we are not this and we are not that, babe, let me tell you something. One thing about me is you will learn I am not here to make you believe a thing. Okay? Because I know what's going on. You see what I'm saying? Spirit lets me know what the hell is going on here. Now, if you want to continue to believe that God exists outside of you and give your authority away to God outside of you, that may be exactly what your soul needs to evolve. So who am I to judge you for that? But what you're not going to do is come into this space and try to disregard what Spirit told me to tell the people. Okay? I send you love. God bless you. This is not for you. Okay? Because if you believe in, if you're a Christian, if you're all these things, right? Why do you have to constantly convince other people to believe in what you believe in? That's control. That's not love. You're supposed to be love. God is love. I'm not here to control anybody. I'm not here to control anyone's belief systems. I'm here to be my authentic self, to be light, to be a vessel for the divine, for God, because God is moving through me, speaking through me, as me. Not convince you to believe what I believe in, because I don't need to have control over you. I don't need to have power over you. I already know what's going on. See, and because I'm so rooted in myself and rooted in my knowing, I don't come into other people's spaces telling them that what they know to be true is a lie. Because I don't have to. You see what I'm saying? So you can come in here and be quiet and not say a thing, or you can leave. I'm glad we understood that. Amen. Thank you so much. Period. Ken said, does the belief turn into identity or vice versa? Once you're able to do your releasing work, once you release the energy, the old energy, okay, what happens is you create energetic space for new energy to come in. Right? Because when we are trying to shift our identities into being someone else, and so let's say we're using something like affirmative statements or anchor statements, what happens is if you have not released the energy, immediately when you say something like money flows to me easily and effortlessly, your body is like, hell no it don't. We're broke. What are you talking about? You got $3 in the bank. We don't have no money to our name. You see what I'm saying? And so once you do the releasing work, and before you do the releasing work, which we're going to talk about, but once you do the releasing work, now you can start to use these affirmative statements to remember who you are. That's why I take a spiritual approach. I take a metaphysical approach, because I'm not helping y'all become a new person. I'm helping you to be and return to who you already are. Does that make sense? You already are abundant. You already are all the things that you are seeking. You've just been taught that you're not. So you continuously look outside of yourself because you want to be validated by physical reality when you are the validation. You are it. It's not outside of you. So I'm not helping you. When I say shift your reality, I'm not helping you become a new person. I'm helping you to return to who you truly already are, who you were tricked into thinking that you're already not. Which is why we have to release. Because when we release, we create the space to be who we naturally already are. If you know that you're created in the image of all that is good, how could God make a mistake in creating you? If you know that God is abundant, if you know that God don't lack, if you know that God is worthy, if you know that God is enough, why would God make an aspect of itself to lack and be the antithesis of everything that it is? It don't make sense. So I am here to help you return to who you already naturally are. You are not becoming someone new. To say that you are becoming someone new would be to deny the fact that you already are the things that you seek. I want you to know who you are. Okay? Because when you know who you are and you identify with the part of you that cannot be created or destroyed, the part of you that cannot be touched and only felt, and when you know it, when you understand it, everything shifts as a result of that. I'm not helping you shift into being someone else. I'm helping you return to who you naturally are, because who you naturally are is already whole. Who you naturally are is already abundant, right? And some of these manifestation coaches make you think that you already are not all these things that you already are. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Yes, you are consciousness. You are awareness. You are the observer of the experience, not the experience itself. So there's no need for you to shift into somebody else. You're not becoming someone new. You are being who you already are. You are releasing all the shit that you are not, so you can be who you already are. I'm not here to help you shift into a new person, because that would be reinforcing this idea that you already are not whole. You are a whole, complete being who lacks nothing. You lack nothing. I am here to help you remember who you are, return to your wholeness, so you can get all the things that are naturally in alignment with who you naturally already are. So I'm here to help you be yourself. Be your authentic self. Why? Because your authentic self is enough. You've been taught that it's not. You've been taught that you have to do X, Y, and Z for you to be worthy. You've been taught that you have to do X, Y, and Z for you to be enough. You don't have to do any of those things. Because who you are, as you are fearfully and wonderfully made by all that is, which also lacks nothing, which also is whole, which also is abundant, which also is inherently worthy, because you are those things, you do not lack anything. You are programmed right now. You are conditioned right now to think that you lack something that you do not. You do not lack anything. Why would Source send you here lacking something when it does not lack anything and you are made in the image of it? Somebody make it make sense. Immediately. Somebody make it make sense. Why would something that is already complete create an aspect of itself that's incomplete? It's impossible. If this is already complete, then that means when it creates an aspect of itself, the aspect of itself also has to be complete. Right? Which means that the aspect of itself cannot lack nothing. It cannot lack anything. Now, it can play in a game to believe that it lacks something, right? Because it's a creator and it has the ability and the authority and the power to do that. It can play in a game to believe that it's not worthy and have physical reality reflect that back to it because it's a creator. It can play a game to believe that it's not enough and have physical reality reflect that back to it, right? But that's just a game. That's just a program. And the program that you're projecting outward is responding back to you. And so then how do we get it to respond differently? We have to change the program. And more specifically, we have to release the program. Yes, somebody said the matrix. That's the program. Release that and you're free. Release this, free this, and then you're free. Years ago, when Spirit told me to leave the matrix the first time, I ended up going back to corporate 2 years later. Why? Because I let fear get me. I let fear get in the way, right? I tried to do things from a fearful mind, from the programming, from the conditioning. Well, guess what? That version of me could not go where Spirit was trying to take me. That version of me would not be on here talking to y'all right now. So I had to still do the work. I had to still show up. I had to retrain this. I had to let go and release some things so that I can be who I naturally am. Me being on here talking to y'all, this is who I am 1000%. Y'all see me like this online, you see me like this in person, you're going to get the same thing. Guess what? And I can show up like this as my authentic self because who I am is enough. But I had to learn that. I had to realize that, wait a minute. how I'm showing up is not who I am. These triggers that I have in this physical reality, the person that's responding is a survival identity. It's who I thought I had to be safe. But that's not really me responding. I'm reacting. So do I want to be the one in control? Do I want to be the authority? Do I want to get power back to myself? I do. So then I have to do the work on myself, to heal myself, to release and to let go and shift back and return back to my wholeness. Because guess what? I was already enough as my true self. I didn't have to perform. But the old me, the survival identity, the survival me thought she had to, because she didn't feel loved, because she didn't feel enough, because she didn't feel worthy, right? So she thought she had to perform, until I realized, like, wait a minute, I don't have to perform anything, because who I am is actually enough. Because who I am is already whole, because who I am is already complete, because who I am is already abundant. I don't have to earn money that's already mine. I just have to be myself. I just have to create from a place of service and be authentically myself. And that will naturally come as a reflection of who I truly am, because it's an extension of me. It's not separate from me. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? So, when we work together, when you're ready to do your work, you're going to come to me. You're going to book your session. And I'm going to help you return to yourself. I'm not going to help you become somebody else. I'm going to help you return to the wholeness that you already are. Because when you return to the wholeness that you already are, and you're able to live in your authenticity, guess what? When you're operating in your natural, authentic, vibrational signature, you naturally attract all that is naturally for you. You attract all that's for you. And guess what? Because we live in an energetic, vibrational universe, you don't have to work for what's for you. It will naturally come to you. This, to me, being alive is not work to me. It's a natural extension of my being. It is who I am. I'm just showing y'all who I am. This is not work. This is who I am to my core. You see what I'm saying? And I'm just showing y'all that. Authenticity is magnetic. How God made you authentically is magnetic. So then why would God create you to be someone else that you're not? So you can earn and prove and strive to be all the things that you think you naturally already are. So I help you return to your wholeness. That's it. When I tell you to shift your reality by shifting your identity, you're not shifting into someone new. You're shifting back into who you truly are. Because you think you are your life experiences. Because you think you are the throught. Because you think you are the worry. Because you think you are the lack. You are none of those things. None of it. You are the experience. You are the observer of those things. You are the observer of those experiences, not the experiences themselves. You just have to stop collapsing into the identity that tells you that you lack. You just have to stop collapsing into the part of you that believes that it's afraid. And it's being that person. Because if you stabilize the energy of fear and worry and doubt long enough, guess what? You become it. And when you become it, you attract it. Why? Because reality is responding to your identity. Now, I don't want to get loud up in here because I'm preaching today. You see what I'm saying? I could not start to shift myself until I became aware of myself. Okay? Now, this is what being aware of yourself is going to require. And you're going to learn this when you work with me, when you get your trigger tracker, which if you click the link in bio, it's like $25. When you start to do that work, you're going to learn how to do these two things on your journey. And these two things are the most important. They're the first step to your journey of shifting. Do we understand that? You're going to learn how to have love and compassion for yourself. That's what you're going to learn, okay? Because everybody's asking me, well, how do I release? How do I release? This is y'all problem. And I'm telling you this because I love you. And I need y'all to listen to what the hell I'm telling you right now. Y'all are so wrapped up in this manifestation shit, manifesting things that are less than you. You are made in the image of God and you worried about some fucking things. Y'all worried about some goddamn things. When you don't even know who you are. It's not about, I need y'all to understand, it's not about the things. It's not about the money. It's not about the car. It's not about the partner. It's about knowing who you are, walking in your authority and in life reflecting back to you who you are being. Right? Because when you know who you are and you operate in your power, those things naturally come to you because they're a reflection of who you are. So when you know who you are, you don't give a... Ooh, y'all about to make me cuss with this thing. So when you know who you are, the things don't matter. And guess what? Because they don't matter, because you don't need it, because you don't operate from lack anymore, because you know who you are, because you're walking in your power, they come to you anyway. See, if you want to shift so you can get things, go to a goddamn manifestation coach, because I am not that. I am not that. I am here to help you remember who you are. And when you remember who you are, when you walk in your authority, when you be who you were created to be, without having your energy, your natural energy distorted by fear or doubt or lack or worry, those things naturally will come. But y'all so focused on getting the things that y'all don't realize that you're focused on getting the things is creating the resistance, so the things are not going to come anyway. Because you're focused on the wrong things. You need to be focused on shifting yourself. And you keep giving your power away to physical reality, which is creating resistance, which is keeping your life exactly the way that it is. So when you realize who you are as God, as a fractal of source, and you're walking in your authority, and your state of being is not dictated by things, your state of being is not dictated by physical reality, your state of being is just walking in your power, those things will naturally come to you. Life magnetizes to you and you don't have to chase it. And so now you get to manifest by simply being yourself. You don't have to affirm all goddamn day. You don't have to listen to affirmations, because why? God does not have to do that. God knows who it is as God, and life reflects back to it the power of itself. Y'all, I'm screaming in these people's library. I'm sorry. The passion is just moving through me. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab your trigger tracker. It's 25 doggone bucks. If you want to go deeper, if you want one-to-one with me, you're going to get a 30-minute session or a 60-minute session. I don't offer less than that because I want to be able to have enough time to dive deep. I'm going to send you, okay, an intake form because I want to maximize our time together, and we're going to get to the root of the tutor. Amen. And when you get your trigger tracker, you're going to learn, it's going to teach you the foundation, which is how to operate from awareness. Okay, awareness is what allows you to stop collapsing into the survival identity, so you keep repeating the same cycle. That's what awareness is going to do. Okay, that's why I always say self-concept work is not helpful for someone who has trauma in the body, who has trauma in the nervous system, who has trauma in the psyche, because when you're triggered by physical reality in real life, an affirmation is not going to deactivate you. Your nervous system is already dysregulated by that point. So you have to have the tools to be able to regulate yourself in the midst of being triggered. An affirmation is not going to do that.